Welcome to the Pose Masterclass, everybody. This is Alessandro. Welcome back to my channel. For the last couple of months, I've been working on this class in order to craft a proper series of tutorials where I'm gonna guide you and teach you on how to create very strong and appealing poses. If you remember, almost a year ago, I did another masterclass where I was focusing on advanced body mechanic shot, like a combo striking attack. Even though a lot of people like and love the content, other people felt left out because the content itself was way too advanced for them, and they were asking me if I could give them other tutorial, other content, more for beginner or student, and that's exactly where this post masterclass came along. So in this video you will find what is exactly the content of this masterclass, who is the target, the pricing, and how can you get the masterclass itself. As you see at the beginning of this video, I created 7 action-oriented poses, from the easiest one to something more advanced and more challenging, even with multiple characters. But before you start with the actual tutorial, there is an introduction chapter where I discuss all the knowledge about creating a very interesting pose. We discuss about line of action, contrast, appealing, silhouette, why a pose looks good and why it doesn't look very interesting, like how can we push a pose. Sometimes we have a reference that is exactly very good, and how to study a reference in order to make something very appealing. And this will be the foundation for the rest of the tutorial. Overall, every time we're gonna work on a pose, you'll see me use different techniques. Sometimes at the beginning I will show you how to look for an interesting reference and how to go there and how to push the reference even more, maybe how to sketch on top of it. In other cases, you will see me just sketching out of the blue, coming out with my own idea. And this is also include making mistakes, making different variation, exploring any other idea, just whatever is going through my head. I record exactly each steps because I want you to follow and probably get inspired about my thought process. After the stage, like everything else, we take the rig, we go into Maya and we start to model and create the poses. So normally, obviously, we try to follow the reference or maybe the sketch that we have done in order to push the poses as much as we can, right? I'll teach you how to manipulate the rig to achieve shapes or stage or choreography that might originally not look very appealing, right? In other cases as well, another things I will teach you is that sometimes when you have the reference, or even when you do your own sketch and you start to craft things in 3D, you realize things are not always exactly the same. You cannot always achieve the pose that you want, right? And so in other ways that we have to be a little bit more creativity when we are in 3D, and we need to go around and try to find different way to solve the problem. And this is another thing you will see me solving together this tutorial, because you have to get comfortable, you have to get used to when you do animation, not everything goes according to plan, right? You're not always gonna find the right reference for you to make a poses, or maybe you're working on a specific character and you need to be very creative, right? And you need to come up with a solution. Or sometimes you have a great solution, it looks good on paper, but when you're going and start to do it in 3D, it doesn't look, the result is not as what you were expected. So you need to adapt your strategy, and that's all the things that you will learn here. First of all, guys, if you want to have access to this tutorial, you need to contact me through LinkedIn, all right? I will leave the link to my profile here in the comments, right? So just make sure you click that one and you contact directly with me. The next question you might have, guys, is who is the target for this masterclass? Obviously here I wanted to go back to the root, I wanted to go back to the beginning. So definitely everyone who is studying animation or is still a junior will greatly benefit for this one. In my opinion, guys, if you want to start to study animation and you're at the beginning of your journey, learn how to craft a pose is the number one things you need to learn how to do. Is before the bouncing ball, before the pendulum, before the tail overlapping animation, before a walk cycle. It comes before everything, because this can already give you an idea if you have the creativity in mind and wit in order to create something on screen looks beautiful, because you're not going to focus on animation, but you're going to focus on one single frame, and this already can give you an idea if you have that potential. I always make this analogy that is the same as 2D animation. Back in the days, guys, when you wanted to learn 2D animation, well, you can't just go there and start to animate, right? You need to have skill in order to know how to draw, right? I remember when I went to do 2D animation, well, my teacher told me, Alessandro, if you don't know how to draw, no way you can learn animation, because animation is for people who already knows how to draw, they know anatomy and things like that. And in these cases is exactly the same. You cannot start animation if you don't know how to to pose just one single frame that looks good, because if you cannot even achieve that, what makes you think you can make multiple frame or multiple poses to make your animation looking good and convincing? So the principle is exactly the same. So this is, guys, number one step you need to learn and master. But that's not all. I think there is a lot of people in the industry that might be still mid-level or even senior sometimes, where their posing might not be the strongest. It's not necessarily the strongest skill. They still know to do a good poses, but they're not very creative, right? And they still want to push the skill, right? Maybe they've been working for too long on motion capture, where everything is kind of done there, you just have to push it a little bit more, right? So kind of missing this kind of trading where they need to craft from the very beginning and they need to come up with ideas and stuff like that. And so I think in these cases, if you recognize yourself in this category, it might be very helpful for you as well. So it's true that I come up with these classes only for beginner people, but because I started to push the poses more and more, it can benefit even people who already have experience in the industry. The tutorial itself, as usual, is very detailed. I didn't do a lot of editing. Most of you will see me go every single step. Maybe I speed up a little bit some section just because, you know, working in Maya can be quite slow. So I speed up a little bit the footage and you can see me speaking over, going through my thought process. But I can guarantee you every details will be discussed in this masterclass. The pricing for this one here is 200 Singapore dollar. So if you think it's something it's interesting for you, is in your budget, feel free to contact me. Let me know if you have any question. I will try my best to answer you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and see you next time, guys. Ciao.